Once upon a time, there was a mouse that gets put on top of this jar full of grain. The mouse is elated. He's so excited, and he eats and eats and eats the grain as fast as he possibly can. Time goes on. He eventually eats all the grain in the jar. And where does he find himself? He finds himself trapped in the jar that used to be a haven is now a prison. The only time he gets grain is when it's given to him. The only type of grain that he gets is the type of grain that is picked by somebody else, and he has no choice in the matter. He's stuck. Short-term pleasure can easily lead to long-term traps. Comfort and complacency leads us to nothing but dependency. When we don't use our skills, we not only lose our skills, but we lose the opportunity to have choices and to have freedom for ourselves. Speaking of freedom, it doesn't come easy, but it can be lost very quickly. Matter of fact, nothing of value is gonna come easy. If something comes easy to you, it's probably not worth it. At the end of the day, we need to remember, don't curse your struggles. These are blessings in disguise. This is Streetwise. Okay, so just read an article on LinkedIn, but it's from entrepreneur.com. The author is Timothy Sykes. And you know me, I'm always going to try to bring you content. If I find something that I like and I think that there's value there, I'm going to share the content and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. So I appreciate you, Timothy Sykes, for writing this article. It's called 6 Things Successful People Do Before 9 a.m. Doing something useful when you feel least like doing anything almost guarantees a productive day. And you know what? I can't do anything but strongly agree with that statement. I mean, if we can get up and get going, that's amazing. Kidding me? All right, so he's talking about 6 things. So we're gonna go through the 6 things, and I'm gonna evaluate myself on these things and just give some commentary and feedback on what I think. Number 1, get physical. You've probably heard the phrase, healthy body, healthy mind. It's important to take care of yourself physically. For most people, early on in the day is the best time to exercise before responsibilities kick in. Whether it's a brisk walk with your dog, an early run, or a bike ride, just to get your body moving. Not only will it make you feel good, but studies have shown that exercise can improve brain function, so it might even make you smarter at work. Now I gotta say, again, number 1, get physical. If you know me, you know that this is super important to me. I mean, I am a 5 a.m. guy, trying my best to get up at 5 a.m., definitely no later than 6. If I wake up and it's 4:50, if I don't get out of bed at that moment, I'm gonna hit that snooze and it's gonna be really, really tough for me. So on my more healthy days, or my more motivated days, I will just go ahead and get up at the 4:50. But getting physical, going on that early morning run, hitting the gym. My gym out here has a class starts at 5:20. Haven't been in a minute. But I'll tell you what, when I was in a good routine, getting out there and hitting that class it wasn't every day. It was 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was in the best shape of my life, but I also felt the most productive. I felt like I was really getting out and getting something going. And I'll tell you what, on the days that I don't do a run, that I don't get active and at least have time for like a quiet time or time to myself, those days are off. I do not feel good about myself when I'm not able to get up and have that hour, that 90 minutes to myself. If I've got to get up and just go, or if the kids beat me up, they wake up before I do, which young buck, Judah, 6:45 pretty consistently, and he'll wake up his brother, his mom, his sister, and if I haven't done my due diligence, me, and that's just not a good and healthy way to start the day. I'm not in a good mood when I'm woken up by my 2-year-old son. Beat it. Beat them up. Get up first. That's just my mantra, and it helps. It works for me. So number one, I highly recommend get physical. Get a sweat going. There's no better way to start the day, in my opinion. Number two, eat something. If you're a busy person, chances are that eating a healthy breakfast is the last thing on your mind. But in terms of the day's productivity, skipping breakfast can be a huge mistake. If you don't eat something, chances are you'll be hitting a vending machine or gorging on donuts at 10:30. How many of us have been there, done that? How productive will you be? How clearly will you be thinking about work after that? If you want to be thinking and working at your best, make time to eat a balanced meal in the morning. Again, totally agree, but the difference here is, man, I am not good at this one. I'm the dude, if I'm not intentional, I'll come home for dinner. It'll be 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll have eaten a banana, a granola bar, and an apple with some almond butter the whole day. If I'm lucky some of these days, folks, I got to be very intentional. I kind of just get going and get in a rush and just go. And we'll talk about it a little bit later on. There's a lot of these things that I don't do that I just know would make me better as a person, but also would help me to be more productive and, like the article says, more successful. Eat something. Plan out your day, plan out your meals, get those calories back. If you're moving around, you're burning them. It's not just for your physical self, but for your mental self and your spiritual self. I can see that being super important. Number three, take care of the necessary stuff. Pick up the dry cleaning, walk the dog, pack school lunches. Everyone has things that they have to do. To get a leg up on the day, get these things out of the way early. When you wake up early, you have time to attend to all of the tasks that can take up valuable mind space during the workday. If you get them out of the way, then you can focus solely on work and your day will be far more effective. It is a small change that can have a massive impact on your career. Just get it done, I guess. The things that you gotta do that you don't wanna do, the things that you're gonna be putting off till later anyway. Ooh, here you go. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You have things that are important. You have things that are urgent. Something can be important, but not urgent. You can have something that's urgent, but not important. Stephen Covey does a good job of breaking these up into 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is important and urgent. It's the fires that you got to put out right now or the whole house is going to burn down. Then you got things that are urgent, but not important. When your house is burning down over here and your mother-in-law's calling you, your grandma's calling you, talking about the dry cleaning that you left at the house that you need to pick up, but it's done. Come pick it up whenever you want. The phone ringing is urgent, but the content there is not important when you got a house burning down on the other side. That's quadrant 2, urgent, but not important. Then you got quadrant 3. I'm just gonna give you the cheat code of this. Quadrant 3 is where you wanna sit at. The more you can be in quadrant 3, the better. These are things that are important, but not urgent. You're taking care of the necessary stuff. If you can sit here and do that consistently, the quadrant 1 things, those fires, they won't ever happen in the first place. Quadrant 4, just to finish it out, these are things that are not important and they're not urgent. These are the things that you do when your cup is completely depleted, right? And I got nothing to give out. So yeah, at the end of the day, 8 o'clock, I am on the couch or on the bed next to my wife and we are watching a show consistently. And you know what? It's important to us because we've dedicated that time that no matter what each one of us is doing individually, at that time, we're coming together and we're just doing something together. And it's going to be a thing that is mainly not putting out a lot of energy. It's going to be relaxing. It is not important. It's not urgent. So we're binging Netflix. Right now we're watching Big Beasts on Apple TV. We watched the bear episode last night. And you know what? It was awesome. Bears are crazy. And I highly recommend Big Beast on Apple Plus because that show is awesome. I digress. Number 4, cross off the most annoying to-do list item. I'm gonna say it kind of sounds like number 3, but I can already see that there's gonna be a little bit of a difference. Here's what he says. Everyone procrastinates on one thing or another. Start the day right and get at least one of those hard to tackle tasks off of your to-do list. In the morning, you're at the most energized and refreshed. And I'll tell you what, if you did that physical exercise, you will be, I promise you. Challenge me if you don't believe me. And be prepared to take on a difficult task or project. You'll be amazed at how much lighter it makes you feel for the rest of the day. Not only will you have the sense of accomplishment at having completed that task, but it won't be looming ahead and causing stress all day. Wow. Man, how many of us actually procrastinate on things that we just kind of don't want to do that, again, we know that we should, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal if we just did it, but then we procrastinate and then it becomes super urgent, and usually a lot of those things are compounding on each other at the end. And whoa, you do that for too often and you got a lot of quadrant 1 tasks, a lot of fires in different rooms that need to get put out all at once. And man, I don't even have to make this about business ownership. I think I can make this about parenthood, about being married, about just being a person in general. And I think every one of us can resonate. So I think the important thing here is to be consistent on not putting off stuff. If you know you got to do it, just do it. There's the, I think it's a book. I haven't read it, but I know the concept. Eat the frog first. If you heard of it, if there's an author, if it's a real book, I'll probably edit this and come back and cut this whole section out and say, oh yeah, the book, Eat the Frog first. And have a full recommendation about it. But yeah, the concept of eating the frog first. Nobody wants to eat a frog. That's gross. But if you know that you have to, when's the best time to do it? The first part of the day. That way your mental state is completely clear and you don't have to worry about it. Man, tell me that it's not the worst thing when someone of significance in your life, whether it be your boss, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parent, and they're like, they send you a text and it's like, hey, whenever you're free, can we talk about something? Man, tell me that's not the worst ever. If I ever get that, and my team knows this, the people in my life know this, hey, if you ever send me a message like that, I'm hitting you up right now. No, my mind cannot take it. I don't want to sit there and just worry about something all day. Get it out of the way. And you know what? When you actually do that, how much better do you feel? Because you just feel like a gangster. You feel like a G because you did something that was super hard and you overcame a fear. What better way to level up? That one kind of turned me up. 4, cross off the most annoying to-do list item. But that's hard. But I like it. I'm rocking. I'm not the best at that one. Here we go. Number 5, learn something. To be truly successful in the long run, you must make a lifelong commitment of learning. There is never a point at which you've learned enough. Like Coach Swider used to always say, my coach at Wheaton College, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Let's go. Learning keeps the mind elastic and allows you to remain nimble in your work. This is important as the landscape of every business will change over time. Every day, make a point of spending some early AM time learning something. This might be by reading the newspaper. All right, bro. Nobody reads the newspaper anymore. I'm sure that's not what he meant. This is a new article. This was written recently. I wasn't trying to hate on you, bro, but nobody's reading the newspaper no more. But his point, let's get back to it. Learning a new skill. All right, I'm with you again. Or it might be by listening to podcasts relevant to your work. Man, here we go. If you look at the saved, I've got about 20 shows that I listen to, and I'll take shows off. I don't like to have too many on there because I get lost in the weeds. But right now, in order to make my list, I mean, you got to be like, if you're in the franchising space and I'm not listening to your podcast, I would be shocked. I'm listening to so many podcasts about franchising right now because that is directly related to where I'm trying to grow and where I'm trying to go, if you feel what I'm saying. There's a lot of franchising, general business ownership, entrepreneurship, startup, with marketing, creating content. These are all things that are related to my personal niche. Now, I know there's a lot of shows out there, and me, I try to be growth oriented. I highly resonate with number 5, learning something. If somebody in my circle has a show and they highly recommend it, because if I value that relationship and they like something, you better believe I want to know what that thing is so I can better relate to that person. I'm gonna check the show out. My wife loves the podcast and also Smartless. Those are 2 shows that I would never pick up by myself, but you know what? I love them. They are awesome. Learn something. How are you? I got this from my marriage counselor that Brooke and I are working with now. We've been with them for 6, maybe 8 months. Great experience. Highly recommend it. But he asked me one time, and it was related to me taking time every day to do physical activity because I prioritize it. And he asked me, what are you doing to redeem that time? I'm like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean redeeming the time? I'm working out. I'm getting better. Yeah, but here's an example. What are you listening to? He got me with that one. I couldn't say nothing. I like to listen to music that has fast beats when I run so I can match my pace with the beat. It helps with how I pace myself. But it was related specifically to doing the life work that they assigned us, the homework, and I wasn't doing it. And I made an excuse of, I just can't fit it in. Well, you're running for 20 to 45, sometimes 50 minutes every morning. What do you listen to during that time? Don't you think that one day a week you can, okay, Kimber, you got me on that one. You got me. So I ask you, how are you redeeming the time when you're folding laundry, when you're cooking dinner, when you're on a walk, when you're driving? Oh my gosh. Do you know how many audiobooks I have shot off of my list because of drive time? You put it at a 1.2, 1.3 speed on the audiobook because we naturally read faster than we verbally read, like if we're reading it just to ourselves in our mind. So our mind can afford to speed it up a little bit. Now, some people, and if you're in my circle and if you know this is you and you think, I think he's talking about me, I am. Some people put it at the 2.0 speed or higher, and man, I don't know how you do it. That's crazy. Every time I try, I can't do it. But maybe some of you are gifted in areas that I am not. My point is, there's so much valuable content that's out there that wasn't available 10, 15 years ago. We have access to everything that we need to be successful. It's just, can we put it all together? Can we create a vision for ourselves and rally people around us who can fill up our gaps, fill up our weaknesses, help us see our blind spots, and put something together that's worth value out into the world? Because whatever value you put out, that is the value that you are going to get back to you. And oftentimes it gets compounded exponentially. Plant the seeds when you can and just water them every once in a while and see what happens. But you gotta be willing to learn, and you gotta be intentional about your learning every day. And it does not take that much time. You just gotta be intentional with it. Number 5, learning. I just read number 6. Make a plan. Yikes. You could tell I'm not good at this. This is not my strong suit. But we'll see what I got for you folks. We're still, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And you know what? This is something I'm actually working on. I'm trying to get better at this. So there's that. And I'll tell you what, I am, and I've always been this way. Fake it till you make it, wing it. I used to have a phrase in college. It would be my excuse as to why I never studied. And then I would cram the night before an exam or, a big project. I had a paper that, thousands of words essay, tens of thousands, and I'm pulling 2 all-nighters in a row to finish it. The best thing about a time crunch is that it's always crunch time. And I thought I was cute for saying stuff like that, but really it's probably the dumbest thing that... You know what though? I'm ready when the lights come on. That's all that's all I can really take. Everything else, definitely a weakness. Make a plan. Number 6, the best time to map out your day is in the early morning. I've heard that it's also good to do it the night before. I'm gonna lean a little bit more into the night before, but who am I to say? Early morning, before the distractions of the day set in. This is a time to consider your goals for the day and how to prioritize tasks to realize them. Be realistic in mapping out your day, okay? Don't set a mile-long to-do list that you'll never be able to complete, all right? Or schedule yourself in such a way that you'll be running from thing to thing and get stressed out. Leave room for breaks. Consider this plan like a roadmap, as if you're on a cross-country trip. You have the freedom to veer off course if needed, but the structure of a general plan will help keep your journey on the right path. Now, that's good. I talked about how this is a very significant weakness of mine. I often feel like I get up and I am consistently just going. But every once in a while, the going stops. And it's hard to explain without feeling dramatic, but if your identity is around being productive and achieving and knocking things off a list, and you find yourself in a situation where there's nothing to do because you put out all the fires, it's almost like a sense of hopelessness. Like you don't have an identity anymore, which is so counterproductive, because you would think that if you're running around and you're just putting stuff out that you would want, you would feel a sense of relief, like, phew, it's over. But in my experience, that's not always the case. Those are the moments that I feel like I'm no longer needed. What am I even doing here? It can become a dark place. It's important to have a plan, because with a plan, you can create structure. You can create the proper blueprint, the proper map, so you don't feel like you have to, you might be running 26 miles, but if you feel like you have to sprint until you pass out, then you get up and you sprint until your body fails you. Then you get up and you sprint, and then you just can't take it anymore. You have to take a day off because your body just can't do it. And then you get up after a day, and then you sprint, trying to make up for it. Then you end up with stress fractures in your foot, and then you're done. And that's just a metaphor, folks, rather than understanding that 26 miles is a marathon distance. I gotta set my pace right. If if I set my pace right, and if I create a strong enough foundation because I prepare myself for the journey, then I'm smooth sailing. Then when I have to do that again, it's not about how many times I do it, how fast I do it, but how do I improve from the last time that I went? How did I feel at the end? What's my general health as I cross the finish line? I am at my best when I prepare. I think that's a huge core asset, core value when it comes to what it means to being streetwise, is always being a step ahead, always having a plan. One of the major benefits of having a top 5 strength from the Strength Finders is being strategic, is that you can look at a situation and you can see that there's 5 or 6 possible paths here. But if you don't have a plan with that, you'll just pick one, and then you get to the next crossroad and there's 5 or 6 paths. Then you just pick one because you see value in everything, and anything could possibly work under the right circumstance. But if you do that over and over and over, where you end up from where your destination point was, it's going to be pretty far away. You got to be careful of that. So this is definitely something that I can get better at. Number 6, make a plan. And I got to say, Mr. Timothy Sykes, good job. We'll run through them again real quick. Number 1, get physical. Number 2, eat something. Number 3, take care of the necessary stuff. Not to be confused with number 4, cross off the most annoying to-do list item. Number 5, learn something. Number 6, make a plan. You know what? I like this. I think it's great. These are 6 things successful people do before 9 a.m. I said I was a 5 o'clock guy. I think you can do all this stuff by getting up at 6 a.m. You can't get up at 8 and get this stuff done. You don't necessarily have to get up at 5. My ideal self gets up at 4 a.m. And I used to be able to do it. A summer ago, I'll say the summer of 21 and the first half of the summer of 22, I was pretty good at getting up 4:15, between 4:15 and 4:30. Brooke and I had our 3rd little baby, our daughter Micah. Wow, that changed. That really jacked me up. So I've been fighting a journey. It's been a year to get my wake up time back to par, and I'm pretty comfortable around the 5 a.m. range. It has to be before 6 for me. I mean, if I don't get up before 6, that's where everything just compounds on itself, and I just feel lost in the mix. But that's me. You know, you're probably gonna have your own time that works well for you, but hey, I hope this helps. Stay streetwise. Hey, that was good. I liked how that turned out. It was a little bit different on how I've done things in the past, but it was kind of cool. Again, any way that I can bring and add value, I'm going to try and do that. So did a little bit of research. There is a book called Eat That Frog, 21 Ways to Stop Procrastinating. It's on Amazon. You can get it for like $8. I definitely will. Author's name is Brian Tracy. I'm going to check it out. We'll probably make an episode about it here coming up. 21 Ways to Stop Procrastinating. And Lord knows, we could all use a little bit of that. I know I can. The phrase eat the frog, I think, came from, doing my research. Mark Twain back in the day. You can look it up for yourself. And you know what? If I'm wrong, please tell me. I need some engagement here, folks. Just trying to get this thing out there. But the concept, eat that frog. Do it early. Do it first. Start your day right. But man, appreciate you for listening this far. Stay humble, stay hungry, and as always, stay